So I wanted to make a video, a vlog, quick vlog about mental health and brain maintenance and where that really fits in terms of quality of life. So first and foremost, I'll start talking about my own circumstances with mental health awareness. So I never been diagnosed or anything like that. I did have periods of my adult life, young adult life, and adult life where I probably suffer from depression or like depressive phases. I've never been diagnosed with depression, but I definitely understood that I was in a funk and it was beyond sadness. It was beyond, oh, I'm just having a bad day. It was deep. So basically, I had been through some things when I was like coming of age, maybe around like 17, 18 years old, where it had just really, I was traumatized. With broken relationships within my family, just being what I call exiled and estranged and disowned, and just really being thrust into a world on my own to become a woman without really anybody after experiencing like this humongous loss of what was basically the most important person in my life. So it was like I experienced this loss and I I just instantly go into this like self-preservation mode. And with me having to feel like I have to take care of myself and protect myself, I really put up a whole bunch of walls and a whole bunch of just barriers between myself and the outside world. So from probably between the ages of like 18 to about 20 24, 25, I probably was a real terror. I probably terrorized people. And it was because I had to back people up off me. I didn't want people to get close to me, so they would abandon me and leave me like I had experienced from loved ones previously. So it was like I didn't understand what that behavior and that pattern of behavior was doing to me. So what I would do is when I felt myself like getting close to people, I would just like pause it. I would keep it at this super superficial level. And I just really wouldn't go deep into it because I felt like eventually they might decide that I'm this terrible, evil person and they wouldn't want to be cool with me. And just, it would just be me being abandoned again. And abandonment is like this really ugly common thread through my life, and it really it bothers me, and sometimes I still have triggering situations to this day with feelings of abandonment and things like that. So with that happening to me, with me experiencing it or behaving in such a manner, it was kind of as if how can I say, as if well, I was definitely attracting the wrong type of romantic relationships because it couldn't have been too authentic, because again I had all these walls up, so I definitely was looking like somewhat of prey. I probably looked like I was easy to prey on, even though I really wasn't. I just really was. um I couldn't have been taken serious at that moment in time, let me say that. So I got to be around, I started considering going to like therapy. And once I had went to therapy, I basically I told the therapist all the things that had happened, and she did suggest medication, but I said no because I feel like that was just like a cheap impulse reaction to me telling her things, and I just refused it. So basically, what she was saying was that through years of numbing emotions, because that's what I had basically did, because I am the queen of being unbothered. So for the sake of me to maintain an unbothered veneer, I literally just numbed things. So it was like things that really really hurt me deeply. My body and my brain would kick into safe mode, so it never really would touch me. Now what happens when you go into safe mode and things are not touching you, and things are, you're preserving yourself, you numb all emotions. You don't pick and choose what emotions you numb. And actually that's a major reason why I even considered going to therapy, was because i I couldn't understand why my happiness couldn't touch me. It's like I know I would be really really happy, but it never really touched my spirit or my heart, and I just couldn't understand, like, why is my happiness always so limited? So once I went to the therapist, she basically explained to me that from me um protecting myself, I had numbed myself to a point where I couldn't really feel things, basically. And of course, her, because it's Western medicine. Of course, her solution is, oh, you got to take some medicine. Now, I definitely was not going to take any medicine, so I asked her about the medicine. The medicine basically was a synthetic form of serotonin. So, serotonin is the happy chemical in our brain. So, all I did was ask, I said, so what food items contain serotonin so that I can get them from a more natural? And turkey is a thing that um, can stimulate serotonin. But actually, it's a lot of other things you can do to stimulate serotonin as well. Exercising is very good. Endorphins definitely help with mood and uh, brain chemicals. So once she had told me that, what basically was the situation of why my joy was just so um, hindered, I said okay. And what I proceeded to do was I just proceeded to just be more conscientious on the way I took care of my brain. I started to meditate. I started to be very mindful of the things I ingested, may it be visually, mentally, um, through my hearing, just really mindful of what I ingested. And I started to notice slight changes and progressive changes. So it was kind of like, okay, I get it. Meditation is also very good. Meditation has also been very life changing for me. I'm a fan of meditation. So it was kind of like when you start to improve your brain health, you have a different outlook on your brain, because then it's like, okay, it's a muscle. You understand that it is a muscle. So you work it out as you would a bicep or a tricep. So sometimes you have to hire a trainer, i.e. a therapist. That could be your mental personal trainer. And nobody's saying that the things that your therapist say are the gospel. I took my therapist's word as an opinion, a professional opinion. And I can get with a professional opinion. I don't have to follow it to the T, but I definitely entertained it because it sounded familiar. In terms of my own mental health struggles, it didn't occur to me that I was struggling until I noticed that I couldn't get happy. I couldn't get ecstatic. Like everyone was having these very, very joyous occasions, and I was cool with everything. It was cool. That's cool. That's okay. Everything was just kind of leveled. And that really, really, really started to concern me, because it make you feel broken, like a broken person. So it was like once I started this journey, I'm a writer by nature, so I write, period. So I've always been a journal person. I've always been a poetry person. I just always been one of those people who understood that it has to get out of my brain and it has to get out on paper so I could look at it again and basically receive it in a different way. And so it was like as I was writing things and I was getting things out, I started to really understand how situations and conversations had affect from my childhood had affected me in ways, and how what role I played in it, because I definitely played a role in situations that happened between me and my family. I have no problem taking accountability. And that comes from me understanding differently, and me and my brain maturing, and me being open to different scenarios and different things. So it was kind of like I was like, okay, you know, Yvette did play a role in it. Yvette might have been a hellion, but it was like Yvette was a hellion. Teenage Yvette was a hellion. She was. But it wasn't out of the blue. I had voiced my struggles to people in my family since I was 12 years old. And when you're not raised by your parents, people might not necessarily have the patience or the know-how to deal with you as you're struggling. So I kind of had these struggles, and I had been voicing them to people. So then I just went ahead and internalized them, and it created codependency situations, i.e., um, underage alcohol usage, marijuana addiction, things like that. So it was just kind of like self-medicating that really, really wasn't solving anything, but it was numbing me, and it was providing an escape from those things. Things that are short term fixes that are not solutions but bandages. And it really wasn't what my mental health needed. Um, I say all that to say about mental health because I know that we're in this whole trendy thing of self-care, and these bubble baths and these spa days and all these things. But the best thing you can do for self-care is to take care of your brain. And I think we like to avoid those situations. We like to avoid the depths of things like that because it resorts us back to childhood. And nobody wants to be a hurt child, especially if you're this big, strong adult who's conquering mountains and just kicking the world's ass. But when you lay down at night, you really, really, really are this hurt, scared 10-year-old. And that's why we have to visit mental health awareness as a form of self care. Therapy is a good thing. Counseling is a good thing. Um, Surrounding yourself with loved ones who support you and police you is a good thing. People who will tell you, you tripping right now, or no, or people who will just speak life into you. What we ingest is very, very key to mental health. The food we eat, the music we listen to, the television programming that we receive, all of these things contribute to the quality of our brain, and we have to protect it. We literally have to protect it as if it's fragile, because it could be a ticking time bomb, and you have to literally get to the point where you don't want to detonate it, but what you want to do is you want to disarm it. I noticed that I was making strides in my journey to mental wellness when I noticed that things would touch me in a way where it was stirring emotion in me, and it was kind of like, okay, I guess I was starting to thaw out a little bit, but I noticed that, and it was because I had started to um stimulate those connectors that I had basically numbed out. So it was like as I was getting those sparks back, I was getting those feelings back. And I'm very, very thankful that I really, really didn't do any damage, any long term damage, because I know a lot of people who have done long term damage to those receptors where they can't get those memories back, or they can't get those um those the ability to reason, or the ability to sympathize or empathize. Those are things that are lost forever. Those, and emotions that are lost forever. And I was just happy that I was able to get that back. But I do not want people to forget, while everyone wants to go and get a massage, and go and purchase this new item, to forget that taking care of your brain is right on up there with a facial. It's more important than the facial, actually, because we can do all types of things to fix the outside. We can polish up the outside all day, But it won't make a bit of difference if you haven't confronted those demons that you tucked so far away in the back of your brain or in those closets. It won't mean shit. It will not mean shit. And every day I'm striving to be a better human. Every day I'm striving to be a better person. Every day I'm striving to get my life back to a place where it might not be 100% unscathed, but I don't need 100% unscathed, because those scars are the things that tell me that I'm capable, I'm able, I'm here, I survived it. So it's kind of like, just for me to get on the healthy side of things that might have traumatized me or bothered me is what my goal is, what my self-care is based upon. Just getting to the other side of traumas and just understanding that nothing nothing happened to me, but I survived something. And that's the stance I feel like that is healthy for all of us to take, is the fact that you survived something and you got on the other side, and now it's time to go forth with the knowledge on the way to make it through, and you share that with people. And I just think that we need to get to a point where we start using our testimonies to help people. That is a form of self-care as well. Sharing your trials and tribulations with people and helping them through their own. You know what I'm saying? But to wrap this video up, or to wrap the vlog up, we just have to really get to a point where our mental is just as important as our exterior. And pedicures are cool, face masks are cool, but have you meditated? Have you unpacked that box that might be in your brain of all those things that you tuck away tight so nobody can hurt you? Have you done those things today? And if you have, then yeah, go ahead and reward yourself with a pedicure or something like that. But work on your brain. Definitely work on your brain and work with your brain. Strengthen your brain.